I used to love Oprah, like most of us who grew up when we did. And only now did I realize I've been getting spoon-fed propaganda from this woman for years. I always took her little setup packages as gospel. Before I was a reporter, I never even thought to question whether Oprah might be intentionally misleading me. Then last night, the dawn came and I was like, oh my God, she is not a reporter. She's a propagandist. She's trying to shove messaging down my throat of whatever she believes, not what's real. So you remember she did that like kind of factual interview after the quote documentary of Michael Jackson?
Yes.
That was so dishonest.
If I told you that Megyn Kelly and Greg Gutfeld recently tag-teamed Oprah in the most she is the queen of empathy one moment, and then she avoids irony as if it were the ruling skepticism. This is an unexpected smackdown since daytime. TV meets cable news wrath. Megyn brought the receipts, Gutfeld brought the sarcasm, and Oprah brought awkward quiet. What did they say that made you get roasted? Stay put, because this tea is more interesting than Oprah's book club drama.
Words, Oprah's list of favorite things. So Oprah released her annual list of favorite things, and as usual, there are lots of expensive stuff. $1,000 pizza oven, $590 drip coffee maker, $80 of luxury salt. Sadly, no proposal from Stedman. Kat, do you think she went over this first to make sure it wasn't too extravagant?
You're missing the best one.
What?
Okay, it is a little journal and it's called I'm Dead, Now What? Important information on my belongings, business affairs, and wishes. Hand this to someone at Christmas, I dare you.
Imagine a billion-dollar queen wearing cashmere to sit above her kingdom like a kind ruler. And well-meaning, it's a heavenly ceremony to give out vehicles like Oprah's favorite things. But instead of a halo, there's a stare that says, "You should be grateful I'm even acknowledging you." That would be Oprah, the irresistible force of daytime TV who became a billionaire media tycoon whose name alone has the power to propel careers, best-selling books, and, it seems, your self-esteem into the sky.
Oprah is actually suggesting that I think you're like, listen, what do you say? Like, This made me think of you. You're probably not going to be alive much longer. Merry Christmas. Oprah, if she did go over this, she is a sick.
Yeah.
She did not raise any of those accusers' serious compromising facts when she had them right there. Maybe they're telling the truth, maybe they're not. But as a journalist, you have to at least ask. You've got multiple lawsuits against his estate, sir. Might that be an incentive to lie? Didn't ask. You've got these accusations against him. You had a book that you were supposed to produce about Michael Jackson in the context of litigation where you were required to turn this stuff over, and you lied saying that you didn't have it. And you only got found out because Random House and these other publishers admitted you shopped it to them and turned over the metadata to Michael Jackson.
Without wasting any time, Greg Gutfeld got beneath her flawlessly coiffed scalp, tore into that empire with the subtlety of a wrecking ball in a crystal shop. Oprah famously declared, "I want the entire damn media universe on a silver platter," referring to television, networks, publications, streaming platforms, and everything else. When Oprah talks about owning everything, Gutfeld pointed out the frightening reality that it's more about creating a media monopoly than it is about fostering community, making even the wealthiest billionaires uneasy. She is essentially the neighborhood media shark that patiently waits for the right opportunity to devour entire industries for breakfast.
One of the biggest issues that are pulling us apart at a time when I believe we all need to be coming together.
You still have your whiteness. That's what the term white privilege is. It means that whiteness still gives you an advantage no matter what.
This lady became very rich off some very poor white people who watched her every single day in the middle of the day.
It's not a conversation. It's a condescending
Never one to back down, Megyn Kelly hammered home the point that Oprah is the best cultural manipulator. Dissent feels like sacrilege when a woman uses that warm, comforting tone to dictate what you should read, believe, and even feel. Megyn didn't state it directly, but it was obvious what she meant. Oprah's empowerment is more akin to a velvet glove concealing an iron fist. Rather than merely watching her, you submit to her carefully curated worldview, which is meant to keep you motivated, compliant, and prepared to purchase anything that bears her endorsement. It's similar to a cult, but with better lighting and more costly presence.
Okay, so you got salt, you got cheese, you got pizza.
I'm going to stop you there.
Yes.
I treat this like the list I get from my kids. They send me emails because they know when I laugh in their face, it hurts. Anyone who wants a $1,000 pizza oven, you're going to get what Kat picked out. Like, that's the greatest gift you can give somebody because you can't return it. Because returning it, you think you're immortal? You think you're better than us? Like, get your affairs in order. That's the great, you stole the show. They wanted me to talk about a dog towel. Towel's a towel. Great job. That's the best gift ever. And Oprah has never read this, just like I don't read the list for my kids sent me.
Additionally, the inconsistencies are stacked up like unopened books in a library that Oprah has approved of. On the one hand, she's the Gutfeld skewered this like a porcupine on a spit, preaching gratitude from a golden tower while the rest of us live in the basement. The ultimate lesson is to be grateful for what you have, even if it's just a small portion of Oprah's leftovers. The Queen of You can do anything positive, inspiring millions to pursue their dreams and love themselves. On the other hand, she's also the billionaire who travels the world in private planes, sipping rare teas while millions of people struggle to make ends meet.
Time she laughed last night, because you're so right about her team, like controlling this cackling, was when she talked about the idea that she might shoot a home invader with her handgun.
We have that.
And she laughed.
We have that one. Watch.
When you said you have guns, no, at the debate.
I'm a gun owner. Tim Walz is a gun.
I did not know that.
If somebody breaks in my house, they're getting shot.
Yes, I hear that. I hear that.
Probably should not have said that.
But
my staff will deal with that later.
She's not funny. Like the pretend laughing is so, like Oprah's pretending to laugh. And by the way, can I just say, I'll let you finish your point on the gun, but the Oprah affect is done. It's so old.
Welcome to the world where Oprah turns kale smoothies into a belief system and detox teas into divine nectar. Gutfeld quipped that watching Oprah embrace wellness trends is like witnessing a shark do ballet. Awkward, confusing, and a little terrifying. Megyn added that Oprah's wellness empire isn't about health, it's about branding. Her advice lands with the subtlety of a used car pitch, dressed up as self-care but really just another Oprah-branded product. Sip this juice, read this book. Find your higher self with a side of corporate sponsorship. In politics, that's a whole other spectacle. Oprah's presidential teases have felt like a never-ending trailer, all build-up, no climax. Gutfeld joked it's like a reality show with no finale. Will she run? Won't she? The political version of to be continued. Megyn noted Oprah plays the game smart, progressive enough to charm liberals, careful enough to keep her billionaire circle calm. She's not running for office. She's playing strategic chess while the rest of the field is busy with checkers. Her maybe someday campaign is less about governance and more about staying in the spotlight, with a PR team always on speed dial.
I looked at this list, and you know what wasn't on there? Anything about Maui, right? At one point in time, she and The Rock made that video to try to help out everybody who was hurt by the fire, and then that was just quickly discarded. She's like, okay, that didn't work. Who wants slippers? You want slippers. You get a pair of slippers. You're all getting slippers.
And let's not forget the cringy spiritual detours. Those moments when Oprah starts waxing poetic about spirit guides and universal energy, like she's the CEO of a luxury new age cult. Gutfeld quipped that her spiritual advice feels less like enlightenment and more like a chaotic game show where the rules change mid-episode. Megyn called it what it is, a billionaire's midlife crisis. Glossy, baffling, and kind of embarrassing for the rest of us. Then there's the question of authenticity, Oprah's favorite buzzword. She's built an empire on being real, vulnerable, the woman next door with a private jet. Except, as Gutfeld noted, sometimes that realness feels suspiciously rehearsed. Like every tear, every laugh, every aha moment was blocked, scripted, and timed to commercial breaks. Megyn agreed, arguing that what seems like a heartfelt connection is often a well-oiled performance designed to tug heartstrings and loosen purse strings. And speaking of money, Oprah has plenty. As the first Black female billionaire, her fortune is legendary. Gutfeld joked her net worth probably needs its own zip code, but for all the heartfelt speeches and philanthropic gestures, Megyn pointed out the catch. Oprah's giving often doubles as brand polish. Give a little, gain. A lot. That's the Oprah playbook.
So it used to work for her to go out there and say like, the Oprah Winfrey Show, Tom Cruise, right? And you'd be like, Tom Cruise, because television was different.
Oh, 100%.
It was just different. You could take that kind of behavior in your living room and it wasn't quite as jarring. I had such a different experience of her last night. The yelling, her quintessential Oprah thing. I was like, what is she doing? This feels affected, forced, and it's making me uncomfortable. We pulled together just a few examples.
Thanks for joining us for this very special event, Unite for America!
And let's not forget the cringy spiritual detours. Those moments when Oprah starts waxing poetic about spirit guides and universal energy, like she's the CEO of a luxury New Age cult. Gutfeld quipped that her spiritual advice feels less like enlightenment and more like a chaotic game show where the rules change mid-episode. Megyn called it what it is, a billionaire's midlife crisis. Glossy, baffling, and kind of embarrassing for the rest of us. Then there's the question of authenticity, Oprah's favorite buzzword. She's built an empire on being real, vulnerable, the woman next door with a private jet. Except, as Gutfeld noted, sometimes that realness feels suspiciously rehearsed, like every tear, every laugh, every aha moment was blocked, scripted, and timed to commercial breaks. Megyn agreed, arguing that what seems like a heartfelt connection is often a well-oiled performance, designed to tug heartstrings and loosen purse strings. And speaking of money, Oprah has plenty. As the first Black female billionaire, her fortune is legendary. Gutfeld joked her net worth probably needs its own zip code, but for all the heartfelt speeches and philanthropic gestures, Megyn pointed out the catch. Oprah's giving often doubles as brand polish. Give a little, gain a lot. That's the Oprah playbook.
Right, which appears to be what Oprah's doing for Maui. It seems like she and The Rock just did that one video, and really, the people of Maui, they got screwed.
I anticipate a letter to the show saying, The Rock donated $20 trillion to the fund, and then you're gonna have to apologize.
Oh, I will say I'm sorry immediately. It's like this thing in Maui happened, and then
still talking about Maui.
Because everyone just quickly moved on.
No, that's a good point too. That is a good point. It is a story that kind of just faded.
So basically what you're hoping is at least she would have left them a pizza oven.
Yeah.
Right?
Ashley.
Now, let's talk about the empire itself. Oprah's rise from daytime TV royalty to full-blown media mogul wasn't some lucky viral moment. It was a masterclass in calculated control. Launching her own network wasn't just about creating content. It was about owning the entire pipeline, from production to distribution. That's vertical integration at its most ruthless, the kind that would make even hardened corporate sharks raise an eyebrow in respect. Gutfeld put it bluntly, Oprah didn't just build a media brand, she built a fortress in a swamp full of media alligators, and she showed up with a flamethrower. Megyn Kelly zeroed in on the content itself, carefully curated, obsessively polished, and scrubbed of anything that might ruffle feathers or scare off advertisers. This isn't journalism. It's brand management dressed up as feel-good inspiration. When Oprah talks about truth, what she really means is a soft focus version that fits neatly within her narrative. It's not about exposing hard truths or provoking real change. It's about creating the kind of warm, glossy glow that keeps viewers coming back and while it's opening. In the Oprahverse, even the truth gets a makeover.
Polarization of herself.
So true.
It's so disgusting. And then to watch the likes of Julia Roberts up there on her Zoom. Oh, Madam Vice President. Oh, and by the way, hi, Oprah. And Oprah's like, hi, Oprah. Don't I get more? And she's like, well, we just saw each other. You know, this whole idea that it's this clubby elite group of celebrities who are deigning to speak with the great unwashed about the future of this country.
And let's not overlook the glittering celebrity orbit Oprah inhabits, a gilded circle of A-listers and influencers whose careers can skyrocket or nosedive with a single nod from the Queen herself. Gutfeld dubbed it the Oprah Protection Program, where being in her good graces means invites to elite galas, instant book deals, and media exposure that most people couldn't dream of. It's a velvet rope club where genuine critique is scarce, because really, who wants to bite? The hand that signs your endorsement deal? Megyn weighed in, calling it a prime example of sycophantic media culture, where success is measured by how close you can orbit Oprah rather than by actual talent or merit. And nowhere is this dynamic more glaring than in the wellness industry, which Oprah has embraced like a kid in a candy store. Detox teas, luxury retreats, spiritual workshops, it's a billion-dollar playground where the promise is transformation, but the product is often just the same tired affirmations in sleeker packaging. Gutfeld quipped that Oprah's wellness advice sounds like it was written by someone who's never had to sweat for a paycheck, let alone navigate a broken healthcare system. Megyn added the irony: a billionaire selling wellness as a lifestyle, while millions struggle with food deserts, medical debt, and structural neglect.
Is Oprah running for president?
Yeah.
I never considered the question even a possibility. I just thought, oh.
Right, because it's clear that you don't need government experience to be elected president of the United States, right?
I thought, oh, gee, I don't have the experience. I don't know enough. I don't know. And now I'm thinking, oh.
She's joking, of course, but there are worse ideas. See that rebuttal to Trump? Out of ideas, the Democrats rebooted Mayberry RFD. But Oprah's an icon who, unlike traditional politicians, could match a wild card like Donald Trump. And if she won, she could give everyone a free car.
Oprah's political ambitions? Now that's where things get juicy. Her flirtation with the presidency has played out like a soap opera cliffhanger, teased endlessly, hyped to oblivion, and never quite delivered. Gutfeld noted that Oprah's brand thrives on ambiguity, and her political posturing feels less like a call to action and more like an exercise in image maintenance. She positions herself as a unifying, benevolent force, above the fray, but always within reach of the spotlight. Megyn called her political stance a masterclass in strategic vagueness, just progressive enough to keep liberals swooning, but not so bold that her billionaire Rolodex breaks a sweat. It's the ultimate balancing act: power, perception, and profit, all wrapped in the glow of carefully curated activism. Then there's the spiritual side, the universe talk, soul-searching monologues, and the ever-glowing aura of enlightenment beaming out of her multi-million-dollar estate. Gutfeld joked that Oprah's spiritual journey looks more like a PR campaign in yoga pants than an authentic quest for meaning. Megyn agreed, pointing out that while spirituality is personal, Oprah's version often feels packaged, public, and priced for the privileged. And at the heart of it all, authenticity, the cornerstone of the Oprah brand and its most vulnerable pressure point. She's perfected the art of realness, but Gutfeld compared it to reality TV. Every tear timed, every confession optimized for emotional ROI. Megyn added that Oprah's brand of vulnerability isn't just felt, it's sold. A product. Dressed in sincerity, with Oprah herself as the ultimate ambassador of herself.
Do you want to be right or do you want peace? Yeah, that was another huge lesson for me. Do you want to be right or do you want to have peace? And I didn't realize in all those years when I know I'm right. I know I'm right. I am right. I even had a T-shirt that says, I know I'm right. That's an egoic move.
Oprah's philanthropy looks impressive on paper. Millions funneled into education, scholarships, and disaster relief. But Gutfeld pointed out the fine print. Much of that giving is strategically timed and publicly amplified, often serving to enhance Oprah's image and influence rather than challenge the systems that uphold inequality. Megyn added that while philanthropy can be noble, it's no replacement for real structural change. Oprah's empire, after all, depends on preserving the very status quo that keeps billionaires like her comfortably at the top. Culturally, Oprah is a juggernaut. For over 3 decades, she's shaped national conversations, launched careers, and defined what's in and what's out. Her influence is immense, but Gutfeld cautioned against the dangers of such concentrated cultural power. When one person steers the narrative, diversity of thought can suffer. Megyn echoed that concern, suggesting Oprah's vast empire can sometimes function as an echo chamber, only elevating voices that align with her brand and values, limiting room for dissent or innovation. Still, for all the criticism, Oprah's magnetism is undeniable. She's more than a celebrity. She's a symbol of resilience, success, and transformation. Gutfeld and Megyn weren't out to cancel her. They were peeling back the glossy layers to reveal the machinery beneath, the carefully calculated decisions, the contradictions, the balance of heart and hustle. The point wasn't to tear her down, but to show that behind the inspirational speeches and grand gestures lies a savvy businesswoman who's mastered the art of power, perception, and profitability. So the next time Oprah's giving away cars or championing a new must-read, just remember, behind that dazzling smile is a media mastermind orchestrating an empire that runs on equal parts inspiration and control. And Greg Gutfeld and Megyn Kelly, they were just here to turn the lights up a little.